Alright, let's be real. Death Stranding 2 isn't just a pretty sequel. It's packed with upgrades, smarter mechanics, and yep, some seriously cool new systems. One of the biggest game changers early on, A-Pass enhancements. These perks let you shape Sam into an absolute delivery machine as you journey through the rugged lands of Mexico and Australia. But with so many choices, the real question is, which ones should you grab first? That's exactly what we're breaking down today. We'll go over the perks that make a real difference in the early hours. Things that boost your movement, help with cargo management, or just make your life a whole lot easier. Sure, some perks might fall off later when you get better gear, but these early picks are clutch for getting your footing and keeping Sam on his feet. Let's dive in and set you up for a smooth start in Death Stranding 2. I'm quickly moving on to the video. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching! One of the most frustrating things in the early game of Death Stranding 2 is running out of vehicle battery right in the middle of nowhere. You think you're almost there, just a few more hills to climb, and boom, your trusty ride gives up on you. But there's a clutch perk that can make a huge difference in moments like that. The Emergency Vehicle Charger. It sits in the servicemanship tree, and while it might not sound like much, it can actually save your delivery when things go south. Now, let's be clear. This is not some high-tech, full-power charging station. It is inefficient, limited, and definitely not something you want to rely on every time. But when you are stuck halfway up a mountain with a precious cargo timer ticking down, this skill becomes a game changer. Even just enough juice to roll down to the next outpost or charging area can mean the difference between a successful 5-star delivery and total mission failure. It is called emergency for a reason, but you will be glad you have it when the time comes. Memory cost-wise, it is not too demanding. 90 memory units, which is manageable even early on. If you are already picking up perks like battery efficiency boost to stretch out your ride's lifespan, pairing it with Emergency Vehicle Charger just makes sense. It adds an extra layer of safety to your travels and makes those long-distance deliveries a little less stressful. Think of it like carrying an extra battery pack for your phone. You hope you do not need it, but you are very glad it is there when you do. The proximity scanner might not sound like a big deal at first, but trust me, once you unlock it in Death Stranding 2, you will wonder how you ever lived without it. It is tucked into the stealth tree and only costs 50 memory units, which is a small price to pay for the kind of efficiency it brings. Unlike the standard Audrodex scanner, which requires you to pause and manually activate it, the proximity scanner works more passively and shows you what is nearby without breaking your flow. It is a time saver, and in a game where time is everything, that matters a lot. Sure, it only scans a radius of about 20 meters around Sam, and it does not give you the full map scan like Audrodex. But what it does show is incredibly valuable: silhouettes of nearby humans and animals. Whether you are sneaking through a bandit camp at night or just trying to avoid unnecessary fights, knowing exactly where enemies are without making noise is a huge advantage. It is fast, quiet, and gets the job done. Perfect for players who like to take the stealthy route. Another nice bonus, it helps you track animals for delivery missions. If you are working on those side objectives for the animal shelter, the proximity scanner makes it easier to locate and capture the wildlife you need. It is not a flashy skill, and it does not drastically change gameplay, but it smooths out those little moments where Death Stranding 2 could otherwise slow you down. For just 50 memory units, it is one of the smartest early game investments you can make. If you have ever tried to hack a mule postbox in the middle of enemy territory, you know those few extra seconds can feel like an eternity. Sam just stands there doing his thing while you nervously watch the radar and hope no one sneaks up on you. That is where swift mule postbox hacking comes in. Found in the servicemanship tree and costing only 20 memory units, this perk is a game changer for players who like to loot fast and keep moving. What makes this skill so valuable is not just the time saved, but the situations it is built for. In Death Stranding 2, especially across the bandit-heavy areas of the Australian map, mule postboxes are often packed with crafting materials, weapons, or even rare deliveries. But unless you have taken down every single enemy nearby, standing still to hack one feels like asking for trouble. With swift mule postbox hacking, you cut down on that vulnerability time, making hit-and-run looting way more practical. And honestly, At just 20 memory points, there is no reason not to grab this early. It keeps the pacing of your runs nice and smooth, and it is one of those small quality-of-life improvements that just makes the entire experience more enjoyable. You will still want to stay alert, but with this perk active, you can get in, grab what you need, and get out before anyone has time to react. Efficient, smart, and surprisingly satisfying. If sneaking past enemies without ever being seen is your style in Death Stranding 2, then Simple Noise Canceller should be one of the first perks you unlock. Tucked into the stealth tree and costing just 20 memory units, this A-Pass enhancement does exactly what its name promises. It reduces the noise Sam makes during movement. That might sound small on paper, but in practice, it gives you a real edge when you are trying to move undetected through enemy territory. The great thing about this perk is that it works passively. You do not have to activate anything or change your behavior. It just makes every step Sam takes a little quieter. Whether you are creeping through a mule camp or sneaking up to line up the perfect shot before alerting a group, that noise reduction can buy you a few precious seconds. And in Death Stranding 2, a few seconds can mean the difference between a clean escape and a messy fight. Even if you are not playing full stealth 100% of the time, Simple Noise Canceller still has value. It helps smooth out the moments when you want to stay under the radar without having to fully commit to sneaking around. And since it only costs 20 memory units, you barely feel its impact on your build. For the price, it is one of the most practical and easy wins you can grab early on in the game. If you are leaning into a more aggressive playstyle in Death Stranding 2, or just want to be ready when things go sideways, Improved MP Bullets is a must-have perk. Found in the combat tree and costing only 40 memory units, this A-Pass enhancement boosts both the damage and accuracy of your MP-designated weapons. Since MP Bullets are effective against humans, machines, and BTs alike, this perk instantly increases your versatility in just about every kind of encounter. One of the reasons this perk stands out is how early you can benefit from it. After completing Order 005, MP Bullets become available, and from there, it is all about making each shot count. Whether you are mowing through a squad of mules or trying to land precise shots on fast-moving BTs, the increased accuracy makes a noticeable difference. Add in the bonus damage, and suddenly Sam is not just surviving combat, he is controlling it. Even if you do not see yourself as a combat-heavy player, improved MP Bullets is still a smart pick. You will inevitably run into situations where stealth fails, or where avoiding conflict just is not an option. Having your go-to weapons hit harder and more reliably is a quiet form of insurance, and for just 40 memory units, it is well worth the investment. It is one of those perks that pays off the moment things get intense. Skeleton exosuits are already a huge part of what makes Sam so capable in Death Stranding 2, letting you carry more, move faster, or fight better depending on the type you equip. But with the Skeleton Auto Assist perk, these suits become even more reliable. Found in the Porter tree and costing 40 memory units, this A-Pass enhancement adds automatic balance assistance when Sam is using a skeleton, meaning fewer stumbles, fewer falls, and a smoother journey overall. What makes this perk so valuable is how subtle yet effective it is. You will notice the difference most when you are hauling heavy cargo across rough terrain. Normally, you would be constantly adjusting Sam's balance, especially on slopes or rocky ground. But with Skeleton Auto Assist active, the exosuit does a lot of that work for you. It keeps you stable without needing to micromanage every step, which is a huge quality of life upgrade for long-distance deliveries. And because there are several different skeleton types available throughout the game, each tailored to different tasks, this perk has wide utility no matter your playstyle. Whether you are focused on cargo efficiency, speed, or combat support, Skeleton Auto Assist enhances the experience across the board. For just 40 memory units, it is an easy recommendation for anyone who spends time on foot, which is basically everyone. Floating carriers are one of the most underrated tools in Death Stranding 2, especially in the early and mid-game when your vehicle access is limited or terrain gets too rough. They let Sam haul extra cargo without breaking his back, literally trailing behind him like portable storage units. But the big catch? They use up chiral crystals, and early on, those can be hard to come by. That is where the improved floating carriers perk comes in, and it is a game changer. With this A-Pass enhancement, floating carriers become far more efficient by dramatically cutting down their chiral crystal consumption. Suddenly, what used to be a tough trade-off becomes a no-brainer. You are not constantly worrying about running out of crystals mid-delivery, and you can stretch your resources a lot further while maximizing what you carry. It turns floating carriers into something that feels almost like a natural part of Sam's equipment, rather than a luxury you have to micromanage. At just 40 memory units, this perk is a great investment, especially for players who prioritize efficiency and delivery performance. Whether you are helping preppers in remote areas or tackling multi-part deliveries through rough terrain, improved floating carriers makes the job smoother, safer, and much less stressful. It is one of those upgrades that quietly transforms how you approach your routes, and once you have it, you will not want to go back. Battery life is one of the first real limitations you feel when using vehicles in Death Stranding 2. Whether you're cruising across open terrain with a tri-cruiser or navigating rougher paths in an off-roader, that battery meter always seems to drain faster than you'd like. It can turn what should be a quick delivery into a stressful guessing game about whether you'll reach your next charging point. That's exactly why Battery Efficiency Boost is such a valuable A-Pass enhancement early in the game. This perk, found in the Porter tree and costing 80 memory units, gives all of Sam's vehicles an 8% boost in battery efficiency. That might not sound huge at first glance, but across long hauls or energy-draining terrain, it adds up fast. It gives you just enough extra range to push through a tricky stretch or reach a charger without having to stop and walk the rest of the way. More importantly, it helps reduce the risk of exposing your vehicles to timefall damage while stranded with a dead battery. What makes this perk even better is that it stays useful well into the mid and late game. Even after you unlock better gear or new vehicle types, energy efficiency always matters. It helps you get more out of every charge and gives you more flexibility in how you plan your routes. For players who rely heavily on vehicles, and let's face it, that's most of us, Battery Efficiency Boost is one of those upgrades that quietly pays off every single time you hit the road. If you are diving into the more action-packed side of Death Stranding 2, aim assistance is a perk you will want to grab early. Combat in the sequel has been greatly refined compared to the original game, and for players who enjoy a more aggressive, tactical Sam, this A-Pass enhancement brings a major quality of life improvement. Found in the combat tree and costing 80 memory units, aim assistance does exactly what it says. It helps you lock onto targets faster and more reliably. The real value of this perk lies in how it improves your reaction time during fast-paced encounters. When things get chaotic, whether you're dealing with a swarm of mules or fighting off hostile BTs, having your aim automatically snap to the nearest enemy gives you a strong edge. It takes the pressure off of manual aiming without completely taking control away, which means you still get to line up those headshots and critical hits if you want to. It just makes getting there feel a lot smoother. Even if you do not consider yourself a shooter game veteran, aim assistance helps bridge that gap and makes combat more accessible. And for players who are confident in their aim, it can still serve as a way to speed up engagements and make each encounter more efficient. For 80 memory units, it is a bit of an investment, but it pays off in every fight, making it one of the best perks for anyone who expects to trade punches and bullets as often as cargo. One of the biggest headaches in Death Stranding 2 is when Sam takes a tumble and some of your hard-earned cargo goes flying, possibly taking damage or even getting lost. Whether it's from a misstep during exploration or getting caught in combat, those falls can seriously mess with your delivery plans. That's why the Instant Cargo Binding perk is such a lifesaver for anyone looking to carry heavy loads without constantly worrying about drops. This A-Pass enhancement, found in the Porter tree and costing 100 memory units, works by drastically reducing the chance that cargo will slip out of Sam's grip when he stumbles or falls. It's like giving your packages an extra layer of protection, so you can focus more on navigating tricky terrain or dealing with enemies, and less on constantly double-checking your cargo status. Sure, it does drain a bit of battery from your backpack, but that small cost is more than worth the peace of mind it brings, especially if you're someone who likes to carry a lot at once or tackle long, challenging routes. Instant cargo binding is an essential perk. It keeps your deliveries safe and your stress levels low, letting you concentrate on the journey rather than constantly picking up what fell behind. For players who value efficiency and cargo safety, it's absolutely one of the best early investments you can make in Death Stranding 2. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.